So we are working on a 2017 Sea-Doo Spark. The customer let the ski sit for a year or so, and the fuel is or has gone bad. I test drove the ski, and the ski would not perform flawlessly. It did perform well, but it was very obvious that there were issues with the fuel. So the customer, upon my recommendation, said go ahead and change the fuel, or at least extract the fuel from the tank. Uh, so during my extraction, I noticed, I guess you could call it a oopsie. So that there is not a sunken ship in the gas tank. That is a casualty from a fuel gas tank. At first, I said, "Oh wow, this tank is really dirty." When I removed the sending unit, but upon further review, the tank is actually very clean. The fuel is definitely dirty. Here's why. Removing the sending unit is not that hard. All you have to do is unscrew after you take the top deck off, of course. You're just going to want to unscrew the large nut, and then there is a washer in here that right here that gets pretty floppy, so you're going to want to get that position right when you put it back on. Inside of the plastic bucket here of the sending unit, there'll be a lot of fuel, so go ahead and tip it over so that the fuel goes back into the tank and not all over the ski. So with that being the case, I'm going to go ahead and extract the fuel and give you a view of the tank with no gas in it. That is a view of a spotless Sea-Doo Spark fuel tank. I'll take in a little more. See there, it's nearly completely dry and devoid of foreign objects. To put it back together, I slide the sending unit back into the tank, carefully putting the float back in. The rubber ring goes on the internal edge of the gas tank, and then from here, because this is spring loaded, you're going to want to put a little bit of pressure on there as you screw this down. There is an arrow on the sending unit that points to a tab here on the tank. So that's how I know the orientation of the sending unit. The manual calls for you to remove these two, which I recommend you follow what the manual says, but obviously you can do this as well. Alright, I am going to replace the strap like I found it. Well, that's pretty strong. the strap on the hose here. I'm going to do the same to the other side. Sea-Doo has put these zip ties in places where they know the wires were safe. So it's important that you follow protocol and put the zip ties back. Now you have a completely drained fuel tank. The customer said that they'll replace the gas. Gas is around $3 here in Texas right now. If he's going to store this for the winter, he's going to want to add stable, marine stable or regular. I always use marine. And he's going to want to fill this all the way up. So I was taught to put less fuel in there so that there's less fuel to go bad. But stable and products like stable are very superior. And for 3 or 4 months of storage, you don't have to worry about the fuel going bad generally. If you fill the tank all the way up with fuel, you remove any possibility of or room for water to get into the tank. Obviously, water will displace fuel. However, I believe it'll reduce some condensation and just generally keep that tank in the best possible, the fuel in the best possible condition. So I always fill my tanks up and add stable before I store for the winter.